Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I wanted to bring you guys a quick little guide on some cheeky little early game secrets that are going to make you a ton of money in New World. And these are going to be things that are not overtly obvious, although some of them might be slightly more viable than others early game depending on your type of playstyle. But I'm going to go over a few different things that you can do in the game to make the most out of the first few weeks and make the most amount of money possible, because a lot of you guys will be trying to buy settlements, weapons, gear, potions, all of that good stuff. So this is really going to help you all out. So the first thing is going to be actually getting to be able to craft some of those tier 2 and tier 3 equipments and items off the bat. Now, particularly for tier 3, a lot of you guys will be saying, well, we need to wait for somebody to level up the settlements. But in actual fact, there is 2 settlements in the game that allow you to do this off the start. Now, the 2 that are definitely confirmed that have tier 3 stations off the start of the game are the outpost in Great Cleave and the outpost in Shattered Mountains. Now, I don't know if Eden's Grove also has this, as it is a level 60 endgame zone, so I would assume that it's a potential to have these, but for definite Shattered Mountains does, which is the furthest, most northern point of the Eternum map. And you can actually run up here from pretty much level 1 if you wanted to, although I would recommend waiting until around level 15 to 20 so you don't get one shot by some of the mobs that are up there. Obviously, if you do die along the track, unfortunately, unless you've got a home set in maybe Brightwood, or you've got a respawn point at Brightwood, or Morningdale, or for Weaver's Fen, for example, those 3 are closest, you are going to have to respawn all the way back down wherever you came from, so try to grab those as you're going along, and obviously make use of the camp if you do have that unlocked. Try to get that unlocked before you do go down there. You can place the camp down, and then you can fast travel back to it if you do die. Once you get to the actual outposts in Shattered Mountains, you are going to be able to then use those as respawn points, as well as set your in there if you would like to teleport back there regularly. So if you are going to be crafting, then you can go ahead and do that. Now, the reason this is really good is that it will allow you to get tier 3 items in the first few days, because they start at tier 3 and don't go below that point. Now, this is really good because obviously these are unclaimable territories, so it means that you're not going to be able to see anybody overtake it and upgrade the prices, etc. But you are going to be able to make those tier 3 bags, for example, which I'm going to move on to in just a second, which is going to be one of the most profitable things to do near the start of the game. And on top of this, you're going to be able to make jewelry, which is another thing that I will get onto, as well as potions and food, all of tier 3 without having to wait for any of the settlements to get their stations upgraded. So this is going to be a really good early game money making strategy for any of you advanced crafters that get up to the required level to get tier 3 items. You can get ahead of the game by doing it over on those points there. Now, like I mentioned there, bags are going to be one of the most profitable things you can actually do in New World when we get the first server release, and that is going to be because basically everyone is going to want that extra inventory space, and by getting those tier 2 bags up and on the market early on is going to make you a ton of money. But if you can get to that tier 3 and tier 4 ahead of most of the other people on your server, you're going to be making an absolute mint on some of these bags here, because people really want to get good storage on their character. So as soon as they get up to the level required for the tier, they're often then going straight to the marketplace to get these bags, as quite often people don't level up this skill very quickly. And so if you do get ahead of the game with that, you can make a very decent amount of profit. Another thing will be to actually keep a hold of your tier 4 and tier 5 ingredients and crafting materials, because basically you can either make a ton more money by selling them a week or 2 into the game when a lot of players on your server are up to that tier 4 and 5 crafting stage, or indeed you can just craft them with them yourself, particularly for things that go into the keystones for the expeditions. I would always keep a hold of those, because more likely than not your company is going to be able to use them for something. But on top of that as well, you are going to get the opportunity to sell these to crafters on your server for a very decent premium 2 or 3 weeks into the game, rather than selling it in the first week where they'll go for a lot cheaper because people can't actually craft much with them yet. Particularly for food as well, this is really important, because tier 4 and 5 can go into anything. Even when it's not required to be tier 4 and 5, you can use them for any light rations or light meals, anything like that. So bear in mind to not use those when you are crafting, because often it will just automatically put them in. Make sure you trade those ones out for the tier 1 or 2 resources, whichever one you need to actually craft the item, because you don't want to waste your tier 4 and 5 ingredients on those there. Now, again, this one's maybe for those people who are specifically in companies where they know they're going to be taking over a settlement, but owning a relevant low-level settlement as a company is going to be a fantastic way to earn money early game. So if you and your company are able to do this, you've got the manpower and you've got the capabilities to get the gold quickly, because you do need 100,000 gold at the start of the game when nobody has claimed the territory in order to buy it, and then obviously you will have to defend it in wars. But this is a really good way to make money, particularly if you pick out one of the more central towns and the early early game towns like Windswood or Everfall. Even Monarch's Bluff is a really good one as well, and these are going to get you a ton of money because lots of players gravitate towards the middle, particularly Windswood for the first couple of weeks because the main quest takes you through there, as well as the first expedition. The Amrine Temple being in this location is going to mean that you're going to have a lot of time where you're going to be in that location, and a lot of other players are going to be doing the same thing, so they will end up using your town, if you own Windswood, to come back to and to use for crafting, which you will get the tax from, and also the refining, and also then the trading market there as well, which you gain tax from as well, and that can get your company a lot of money and almost the amount back that you spent on the city in the first place, which is a really, really good thing and can mean that you can start to upgrade it, etc., and get yourselves really set up. And like I mentioned, the same with Everfall there, that's another really good option to get early game and mid game, because Everfall is essentially the central place of the map, so it's always going to be very popular and a nice choice for a settlement to take. Now, another thing here that's going to be really, really popular, particularly near the start of the game, is actually going to be getting jewelry crafting and getting high level jewelry crafting up, because again, if you can get up to that tier 3 threshold, get yourselves all the way up to the top of the map there at the Shattered Mountain, you're going to have access to those tier 3 crafting stations, and you're going to be able to make those tier 3 amulets and rings and earrings for players to be able to use and equip, which is going to be one of the most sought after things because it does give you a huge stat boost early on. And for any of those players that are min-maxing, wanting to run the appropriate dungeon to their level, or indeed do PvP, everyone is going to want jewelry at some point, so having a stockpile of this indeed for your company or to be able to sell on the market early doors is really going to net you a very nice amount of profit, and it's going to be something which is going to be very, very useful in terms of providing for yourself later on when you do level it up, because it's going to get you a huge stat boost by these items when you can get those tier 4 and 5 later into the game. Another thing here that pretty much is standard in any MMO that you will play is consumables. Of course, you will always need food and potions, and to be on top of this, leveling up your Arcana and your cooking skill near the start of the game is going to be an excellent way to get on top of your cooking and to get on top of your potions, because you're going to be able to have a ton of food and a ton of potions, health potions, mana potions, whatever it is that you actually need for yourself and your company, and of course to sell on the marketplace. Now, bear in mind with potions, you can buy a lot of those from your faction vendor, but that being said, a lot of players towards the start of the game particularly save up their points for that faction-based armor sets and weapon sets, so that's going to mean you can probably net a decent amount of profit off making these potions. And again, with food, you can get the regular food, which is your regen stuff, which will sell nicely towards the start of the game, but more importantly, you can get those stat boost foods, which are going to really improve the stats for any character, level 60, level 20, level 40, whatever the case may be. Whatever player level you are, these are going to be a plus 10 or plus 7 and plus 3 to primary and secondary stat based off the food, which are going to give you a real good advantage, particularly in the wars and the PvE invasions. So you're really going to have a good profit off getting these early doors and getting them on the marketplace as well. Now, one tip when you are in the marketplace, there's a drop down in the top right corner, which means you can see the price of these things in each different settlement. Go down to the box that says all settlements, tick that, and it will tell you the price of each one in each settlement. You can kind of go to the place which has got the least amount of health potions or whatever it is that you're trying to sell in at the current time, and you'll probably be able to sell those there because of the convenience of them being in the local market instead of someone having to travel to get them. So this is going to be really good, particularly if one of those locations that's running low is one of the central ones, or one which the main quest runs through, as lots of people will be in those areas very, very regularly. Now, one final thing to just note here is that a lot of people will say early money making guides, you should always sell your materials, things like your hemp, your iron ore, all of that stuff, and that does net you a decent amount of profit early on. But if you are trying to level up throughout the game very, very quickly as well, I would always recommend keeping those for the town board quests, and more importantly, the crafting town board quests, because when you craft the iron ornaments or the iron weapons or whatever the case may be from those there, you level up your crafting skills, and as you level up your crafting skills, you get higher tier 1s available, which once you get up to the star metal zone, you're looking from anywhere between 8 to 10,000 XP per quest. This is going to be absolutely huge for XP, and so in my opinion is a better use of your resources, as well as just generally leveling up your refining and crafting skills as you're going along for yourself and for your company if you want to donate those materials as well, because it's going to be a more beneficial thing in the long run. However, if you are just a few gold off something early doors, then this may be a viable thing to do. Go out, mine some iron ore and sell it, as it is going to get you a good profit. It's entirely up to you, but just a little tip there to be aware of when you are going into the early game to mid game stages. Now, I hope you've all enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, please do make sure to leave a like on the video down below, as it really does help me out. If If you are new to the channel, make sure you drop a subscribe on it down below as well, as that really does help me out. We've just passed 3k, so I want to say a massive thank you to every single person that's subscribed to the channel and supported me so far. I'm having a ton of fun doing this, and I'm going to continue to keep uploading, so thank you very much for your support there. If you would like to join the Discord or my company for New World, the Discord link is in the comments and the description of this video. We'd love to have you over there as part of the community. And of course, if you'd like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description as well, so you can go ahead and press the join button just below the video here if you would like to look at the options for that as well. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care and peace.